thank you for coming in to listen to my presentation about the GeoForce program. I think some of you may have already heard about our program because maybe you have siblings or cousins who have been part of GeoForce, but I'm here to tell all of y'all about it and see if it's something that you would be interested in applying for next summer. So, what is the GeoForce program? Well, we are a free outreach program run by the University of Texas at Austin, run by the Jackson School of Geosciences. So university is kind of this umbrella term that covers the entire school that you go to for college, right? But at a university, there are colleges, which are the different sort of sections of the school that cover different topics, such as the College of Business and the College of Natural Sciences, the College of Engineering, and they all have their own names, which is a little bit confusing. But at UT, we have the College of Geosciences, the Jackson School of Geosciences, and that is what we run this program through. I am Jasmine Gulick. I am here from the Jackson School, and I'm one of the coordinators with the GeoForce program. Our whole mission, the whole reason we run this program is to increase the number of students pursuing STEM degrees in college, especially the geosciences. STEM are those science, technology, engineering, and mathematics degrees. And one of the cool things about the geosciences is that it really combines all science, technology, engineering, mathematics, all of that into solving some really big issues. So that's why we care a lot about it. In my not so biased opinion, geoscience is one of the coolest branches of science because we really deal with some of the most important things that are facing the world today. Things like the energy crisis, things like meteorology or weather research, water and mineral resources, stewardship of the environment, discovering the various parts of the ocean and the depths of the ocean, or researching into space and possibly colonizing other planets or moons. Also, the reduction of natural hazards. So these are things like earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, volcanic eruptions. All of that is studied by geoscientists. And all of those things are things that we touch on as part of our program. Because of all of this, geoscientists need to have strong critical thinking skills, right? They need to really be able to think outside the box and problem solve. And they need to have strong verbal and written skills so they can communicate everything that they've learned with everyone else. Those are things that we teach you as part of our program. What I'm looking for from y'all right now is a passion to explore the world. If you're the type of person that likes to figure out how things work, if you really want to understand how the water cycle interacts with the rock cycle, interacts with weather patterns, interacts with space, if those are the types of questions you'd like to answer, this might be the right program for you. If you go into the geosciences, you have a whole lot of options in your future. You might go into research and become maybe a soil scientist or an agricultural scientist, or maybe you'll be an oceanographer or a planetary scientist or an astronomer, hydrologist. There's so many different types of research you could do in the geosciences. Or maybe instead of doing research, you want to practically apply all this knowledge to come up with some solutions for sort of hands-on issues. These are things that engineers do. So you could go into geological engineering, agricultural engineering, chemical engineering, all of these things. Or maybe you're interested in going into law and being a lawyer. Environmental law firms, land use law firms, they hire heavily from the geosciences. Or maybe you're interested in policy. You want to be part of, those politicians who are making our next laws. We actually have a GeoForce alum who actually worked for the Texas House of Representatives after getting her degree in the geosciences and did a lot of sort of consulting on the environmental and energy policies that were being created and put into law. So that's really cool. Or maybe you're interested in business or writing or the arts. The writing and the arts is actually a field that not a lot of people think about, but combining a passion for science and a passion for the arts is actually a really good field to go into. Museums will hire artists who have that background in science to design their exhibits. Or if you want to be a journalist, science journalism is actually a really big field that needs more journalists to enter into. So again, having that background in science and that knowledge of writing are really good to combine. Or the final one I'll talk about is medicine. Any of y'all who are interested in the health profession, there's actually a growing field called GeoHealth, which is the combination of the geosciences and health professions. So geohealth researchers might do things like research how pollution and chemicals affect human health, or they might do geoscience, sort of activists might do information campaigns and things like that to help people during during natural disasters such as earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, all those things. So the geohealth field is all about saving lives, and that's a big part of geoscience as well. So lots of really cool options. And again, we really try our best as part of our program to introduce all of these options to you so that you can get a good idea of what's out there and maybe stumble across a field that you would be interested in doing in college and beyond. So, as I previously mentioned, our program costs you nothing. It costs your parents nothing. It costs your schools nothing. We are generously funded by the Jackson School of Geosciences and by a bunch of these sponsoring companies. What's cool about this is that our sponsoring companies will send professional mentors on the trips with us, and they'll be there to talk to you about what it's like being a professional geoscientist and having this job, what they did in college, how they got to their current career. So again, it's a resource for you to figure out if it's the kind of thing you want to do in the future. Our program has been around for a long time. We started in 2005, so we're older than you guys here in rural Southwest Texas. And then we expanded to Houston in 2008 and officially expanded to Austin in 2020. So these are our three primary regions. These are the three cohorts that we recruit from each year and take our students on these summer field experiences that we do. So let me back up a second because I think I went ahead of myself a little bit. Our program is a summer field program, a summer field academy program, kind of a summer camp, again, totally for free. And we go for 4 years. So we take you for 1 week every summer for the next 4 summers. So some from this rising 9th grade summer, the summer after 8th grade, before 9th grade, all the way up to the summer after 11th grade, before 12th grade. So the summer before your senior year. And we will teach you all about the geosciences and different career options and help prepare you for college, regardless of what it is you want to go into in college. Our students are very successful. 82% of our students are minority underrepresented in the geosciences, 62% are female. Why do I even say those numbers? Why do I care about those numbers? Well, as I mentioned, geoscientists cover some of the most important issues that are facing the world today. And if you have a bunch of people all from the same background sitting around the table discussing these issues, they're not going to come up with the best solutions. So that's why we're here to bring more voices to the table from all sorts of different backgrounds so that our students can be part of this conversation. And that's something that we're very happy and proud to be able to do. And 14% of our students do go into the geosciences. Now, 14% might not sound like a lot, but only 0.001% of all college students go into the geosciences. So our 14% is more than 35 times the national average, which is really great and is something for you to keep in mind. As I mentioned, there's a lot of jobs in the geosciences and not a lot of people that go into geoscience majors. So it's a really great option if that's something you care about. This is our staff. We're quite a small staff, as you can see. Dr. Leah Turner here is the director of our program. She's out here making sure we continue to be successful. And then we have John Hash, Linda Quintero, and myself. We are the coordinators. We're doing all the logistics, and we're leading those summer trips. And then finally, this is Dr. Dana Thomas. She is one of our college program specialists. She's here to help our students as they transition into college and throughout college. Our students do go to college all across the country. We have students at places like Harvard, Stanford, and Yale. Of course, most of our students stay here in Texas, which we are totally happy about, especially as a UT Austin program. We're happy that most of our students do come to UT, though we also have a lot of students at places like Texas A&M, University of Houston, Texas Tech, Texas State, UTSA, etc. And all of these places where we have a big student body, we also tend to have a club that you can join. So at UT Austin, there is the GeoForce Longhorn Club. They meet up once a month. They get ice cream or pizza, go on field trips together. So it's this built-in social network in college, these built-in friends that you can be sure to have in college, which is really cool. And our students do make friends with each other. As I mentioned, you'll be with your cohort, your group of students for 4 summers. So you will become really close with them and you'll go to college with a lot of them. So it's a really great way to make friends outside of your school because your cohort will be built of all of the other schools in your entire region. So for y'all, for the Southwest, every single middle school across the entire Southwest Texas. This is from Eagle Pass, Del Rio, all the way up to Lakey, Nueces Canyon, Hondo. All of these schools are all involved in the Southwest cohort. So you'll meet kids from all across your region and get to know them over 4 years. I'm going to talk about 2 of our students who have really done some cool things because they were part of our program. First up, we have Stephanie Suarez. Stephanie is from our Houston region, and she went on to University of Texas at Austin to get her Bachelor of Science in Geology. Now, the different levels of degrees you can get in school, you might know it, but I'll repeat it just in case. The very first level of degree you could get is an associate's degree. Associates is what you would get at a community college or a junior college. And then if you want to complete your undergraduate education, as is sort of the most expected thing to do, that would be your bachelor's degree. That's your 4-year education. Now, after that, you can continue to specialize and go on to graduate school. You can work for another 2 years after your bachelor's degree and get a master's degree, or you can continue going up from that to get your highest level of degree, which is your PhD, your doctoral degree. This is kind of equivalent to the professional degrees. So the JD, the MD, that's the law degree and the medical degree. But in the sciences and a lot of fields, that would be your PhD. So Stephanie, like I said, got her bachelor's, her 4-year degree from UT, and then is now at the University of Houston pursuing her PhD, which means when she graduates, she will be Dr. Suarez, which is pretty awesome. And as part of getting her PhD, she is getting paid by the National Science Foundation and NASA to be one of the few people in the world who gets to study Martian meteorites. So she is literally hands-on collecting and studying rocks that have come from Mars, which is really cool. Another thing about Stephanie that she did when she was in college as an undergraduate is that she worked for us as a GeoForce counselor. That's another opportunity we offer to our college students. We give a lot of opportunities to our college students. Dr. Dan Thomas sends out a bi-weekly email with things like scholarships you can apply for, internship opportunities, job opportunities, different programs you can be a part of. And one of the opportunities that we give our students is the counselor position. We hire our alumni every summer to come back to the program as counselors and get paid to experience the program all over again. And that's something that our students tend to be really excited about being able to do in the summer. And Stephanie was one of them. Now, another student I'll highlight here is Isaac Ruiz. Isaac is from our Southwest region. He comes from Eagle Pass. He also got his Bachelor of Science in Geology from UT, and then went on and stayed at UT to get his master's. After he got his master's, he got hired by Repsol. Repsol is one of our sponsoring companies. They are an energy company. They have offices all over the US, but their main headquarters is in Madrid, Spain. So as part of getting his job with Repsol, he was sent to live in Spain and got to explore all of Europe for 9 months. And now he's moved back to Texas and is working in their Houston office. So that's a really exciting thing for Isaac. Now, I am here talking to 8th graders because we are building our new cohort for the GeoForce Texas 9th grade academy this summer. So again, your academy will be your rising 9th grade academy this summer after 8th grade. And you will be with us for 4 years. So you never have to reapply. You just apply this first year. And then if you get into the cohort, you are with us all 4 years, you and the other students of your cohort. I am looking for students who are interested in science, who think that geoscience sounds really interesting and you want to learn more about all the things that you could maybe do with the geosciences and keep an open mind about that. And I also want students who want to prepare for college, who want to really make sure that you're ready for those college level classes and potentially college undergraduate research and things like that. Because as I said, we are a college preparatory program, and regardless of what field you go into, we are going to make sure that you have developed your communication skills, your critical thinking skills, and your academic skills for those college level experiences that are coming in your future. Our academy. So for the Southwest cohort, we will be going out June 5th through the 11th. and we will have a coordinator in charge. I will actually be the coordinator in charge of the Southwest 9th Grade Academy. So I'll be the one going on that trip with you in early June. We are, I think probably this is the first full week after you get out of school, or maybe the second week. So it comes pretty quickly into your summer, but that's kind of nice because you get to do this experience with us, and then you'll get the rest of your summer to do whatever else you want to do. I will point out those other two cohorts, the Austin cohort and the Houston cohort. What's nice about the fact that we have those cohorts is that if for any reason you have another commitment that is happening over the week you're supposed to be going out with us in any summer, we leave a couple spots open in the other cohorts so that you can switch to one of those weeks just for that summer, so you can still experience the program without having to skip a summer, and you can continue to build up your knowledge of the geosciences every summer. I'd also like to point out the virtual cohort. What is the virtual cohort? Well, 42 students are accepted into each cohort. So that's going to be 42 students from the Southwest, 42 from Houston, 42 from Austin. That sounds like a lot, but again, I'm recruiting in every single school in Southwest Texas, so it fills up pretty fast. If you apply and you qualify for the program, we like your application, but you don't quite make it into those top 42 spots, then you might be accepted into the virtual cohort. The virtual cohort learns everything the in-person cohort does. They just do it through a virtual environment. And then what's great about that is it's kind of like a working wait list. So top students from the virtual cohort are then accepted to move up into the in-person cohort when spots become available. Also, if you are part of the in-person cohort and let's say you get sick or break a leg right before you're supposed to go out with us, then at least you can still join us for the virtual cohort and learn what you're supposed to be learning, because every year builds on the previous year. So it's important not to skip a summer. Now, this is what we'd be learning in the 9th grade, all about water processes. Water is the biggest mover and shaker for the earth and for other systems. So it's what we start with our geoscience program, our GeoForce program. We'll start learning about rivers and processes like erosion, and then we'll move towards the coast and we'll learn about estuaries, which are known as Earth's nursery, and also the bay system. With the in-person academy, we'll actually get to go out on a ship. That's what this picture right here is. We're at the dock, but we are on a research ship, and we get to go out into the bay and do some marine research in the bay. And then we'll also do some experiments on the beach. We'll actually visit 3 different beaches up the Texas coast. We will visit a beach in Corpus Christi, we'll visit a beach at Matagorda Bay, and a beach in Galveston. And yes, you will get a little bit of time just to hang out on the beach and have a little fun as well. But we'll do some experiments and we'll learn what is different about those sections of the coast. And then we'll also learn about hurricanes and how hurricanes physically change the coastline, which is really cool. This is my little disclaimer. Right now, we are planning to go out in person with those in-person academies. However, should the university and our youth protection program decide it would be unsafe for us to go out in person, then we will use our fully developed virtual academies instead. We hope that that will not be the case this year. We are fully planning on going out in person, but we can't control things that might happen. In fact, a couple of years ago, we actually had a hurricane hit the coast during one of our Southwest trips when they were supposed to go out there. So things happen, and should we not be able to go out in person or do our complete 9th grade academy, at least you can look forward to what we'd be doing the following summer, which is flying to Utah and Arizona and visiting places like Zion National Park, the Grand Canyon, Balanced Rock. We get to take a tour of Glen Canyon Dam and a raft ride down the Glen Canyon. And we get to learn about how all of these places in the desert Southwest are actually really similar to the geology of Mars. So lots of really cool things to look forward to. As I mentioned, every year builds on itself. So we talk about rivers in the 9th grade so that we can then talk about places like the Grand Canyon and how rivers form canyons, and also things like dams, like the Glen Canyon Dam, and how the energy that we talk about in the 9th grade relates to the hydroelectric energy of dams in the 10th grade. So everything builds, and that's a really cool part of our program. Now here we have a video. This was actually created for us by that GeoForce Longhorns Club I mentioned earlier, those alumni that were at UT. They decided to film a video for us talking about all the cool things they've gotten to do because they were part of the GeoForce program and what they've gotten to do in college. It's a good idea to go ahead and turn up the volume on your computers or phones or whatever you're watching this on, because this video might be a little soft, but it's only a minute long. So let's see what they have to say.
GeoForce. It's done more than just prepare me for college.
It directed me to a future I couldn't imagine before.
Over 95% of its graduates attended college. So did I.
Me too. And now nothing is beyond my reach.
No place too far. No job too big.
For this future professor,
Engineer.
Doctor. Researcher.
Environmental scientist.
Geophysicist. GeoForce is taking me from the Great Florida Reefs
To the Colorado River.
all the way to Mount St. Helens.
and over mountains I thought I'd never climb.
So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, then applications are open right now. You will get the document that has all of this information, so you'll be able to click on the link. But if you want to take a screenshot of this or go ahead and scan that QR code, you can do that right now. Our application is due January 1st, so you have a bit of time to get it done. And it is different this year, so if you have any friends or family who have done this in previous years, we did change the application, so don't rely on their information from the last couple years. It is different. This is what you'll need for this year. You will need some general information about yourself, but most importantly, your email and a parent or guardian's email. This is whoever it is in your family that checks their email most often. Get their email, and then an email for you. We prefer a personal email. You can put in your school email if you have one, but a lot of times schools will not let outsiders email in. So email is how we communicate with our students. It's how we would tell you if you got accepted and how to register and all the information about the trip. And if our email keeps bouncing because you put in a school email and doesn't let us email you, that's a bit of a problem. So if you have a personal email, please put that instead. You will need your final report card from last year. Now, I know that last year was really difficult for a lot of us. We entirely understand that. So if you're a little worried about your grades from last year, don't worry. We are not really paying a lot of attention to grades in the next couple years because we understand that it's been tough. The grades will really just be used as a tiebreaker. The most important part of your application are these 3 short answer questions. The questions are, what do you want to be when you grow up and why? What interests you about the geosciences? And here you can talk about geosciences as a whole or any aspect of the geosciences you think is cool, whether that's related to energy or the ocean or space or environment, climate, paleontology, if you're interested in fossils, whatever it is, you can talk about that in this question. And then the final question is, why do you want to be part of GeoForce? You'll answer each of these in about 50 to 150 words. So that's 1 to 2 paragraphs, depending on how long your paragraphs are. And again, it's all due January 1st, but the quicker you get it done, then you won't have to be scrambling to get it done over winter break. So you should get all this information later, and you'll have that available for you to be able to apply. Oh, another thing, try to get all of your stuff together before you click on that link and start applying. It's better if you submit it all at once. It doesn't really let you leave and come back very easily, this system that we use. So make sure you have it all ready. Make sure you've typed up your answers to these questions beforehand, gotten a teacher or someone to reread them or read them for you and help you make sure that you sound like your best possible self before you apply. And we will then read all of your applications and let you know if you've either been accepted into the in-person academy or the virtual academy or not at all in January. If you need any help or have any questions, we do have a Zoom session. The one in October is obviously already passed, but this Saturday, November 6th from 10 to 11 a.m., we will be on Zoom. Again, this information should be in that email you'll get or in that document that you'll get. And you can come by on Zoom and ask us any questions you might have about the application at that point. This is totally optional. This is just for you if you need some extra help. Ooh. Now, if you have any quick questions that you also want to have answered, you can email us. We have our email right here, geoforce@jsg.utexas.edu. You can also follow us on social media. If you have a Twitter, it's at GeoForce Texas. If you have an Instagram, it's at GeoForce_Texas. We post things like registration reminders, various fun activities you can do over the school year, and things like that. So it's good to follow us on social media if you have it. And you can also find answers to a lot of your questions on our website, which is there, jsg.utexas.edu/geoforce. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you have right now. If you want to go ahead and put them in the chat or ask them whatever platform you are currently on, I'm happy to answer your questions. Does anyone have any questions? If you think of anything later, you can feel free to email me or email us at the GeoForce email. Or again, you can pop by on Zoom. We are happy to answer your questions this Saturday. Okay. Well, thanks y'all for coming by and watching this presentation. I really look forward to seeing all your applications this January. And I hope that y'all have a really great rest of the semester.